Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In the last video you've seen me make these little bits. I've spent some time cleaning them all up, filing and emery cloth. That's the 4 little bits there for the link assembly. These are the rods that go from the eccentric straps to the link, which will be in between those. Well, that's the top, so you'll have 2 of those on there working the valves. Right, so what I've got to do now, these you can see I've marked them ready to drill and then trim off. So that's what we're going to do now. Get them in the drill, sort that out. Right, so I've got this set up here in the milling machine with a center drill there. So I'll just get the center in there. Now I'll just change the drill. I'll put a smaller drill in first. Now I'll just put the right size drill in. Right, that's that side done. I'm going to turn it over. I've marked both sides, you see. And to keep that flat there, I'll put that in there. Then I'll just set that up with the center. Right, that's both sides of that drilled. Right, so that's all 4 of those drilled, both sides. Now what I do is get the vise out and trim them off to length where I've marked them. Right, just follow the ends up, and that'll be that. Just using a bit of emery cloth just to take the bluing off now. Right, so that's all 4 done. I'll just find some bolts so we can jig these up. Right, as you can see, I've got this all jigged up here. There's your eccentric straps. Then you've got the eccentric rods going to the links. And then you've got the link assembly there. At the minute I've just found some ordinary bolts to bolt this up just so we can see what it's like. I've got to make some or get some pins to go through, a long one through these here, through the top, so they're separate, so they're moving like this. That's exaggerated, but it's coming on. Right, so the next thing we got to do on this, on the way shaft bracket, there's a 5/16 rod which runs through the bracket, and here between these two we have to make a lifting lever. So the rod goes through there, through the eccentric, the way shaft bracket, and these lugs here are going in the middle there. One there and one there. And then, if I just turn that up a little bit, that slot there, the curved slot on the links, we have to make 2 blocks. And that hole there, we'll put a pin through there, which is going to the valves. That's the valve rod goes in there. It's looking good. Lots of little bits. Always lots of little bits. So the next thing then we're going to do is this. I've had a good think about how I'm going to make that. I got some 1/2 inch diameter rod, which is going to mount in the lathe. I'm going to drill the 5/16 hole through there, and then I'm going to take that piece out of the lathe, mount it in the vise on the milling machine, drill and tap that hole, and then put that back in the lathe and part it off to length. And then I'm going to get the 5/16 round, and I'm going to cut one piece from there to there after I drilled it, part it off there, so that's one piece. And then what we're going to do is have a look at making that separate bit, so we silver solder that on, and then I'll machine in between the two. So let's get the rod in the lathe. Right, so I got me a little bit of 1/2 inch round in there. This is what we're going to be making. I'm going to drill this hole 5/16, but I'm not going to part it off. I'm going to take that out and then drill that hole and tap it on a milling machine. And then I've got some 5/16 which I'm going to drill into the end long enough to part that off in one piece there. Then when I've made this and part that off, I can then silver solder, jig that up and silver solder that on, and then machine that gap out between the two. That'll be the easiest way. Right, so let's get that faced off. Nice. Now we'll get a center drill in there. Right, so that's the center drill. I'll just sort out the drills to go in there. Right, so I've got a slightly bigger drill in there. Right, so next I've got to get me 5/16 drill. Right, so I've got me drill here. Let's put that one in. You'll see that little bit of tape. That just makes sure I drill deep enough so I can part it off nicely. Drill that. Right. Beautiful. Right, I'm not going to part this off now because I want to mount that in the milling machine and drill the hole. Drill and tap the hole in there. Now I'm going to get my little bit of 5/16 round. This will be faced off, drilled and then parted off. Beautiful. Right, we just put a center drill in there. Put a smaller drill in there first. Right, that's that one, and then we'll put the right size drill in. Right, got me other little drill in. Just going to drill that. Right, there we are. That's drilled deep enough so when I part it off I got a hole right away through it. Now what I got to do is set up the parting tool. Right, so I've got that all set up. Just part that off then. There she goes. Beautiful. Right, so that'll be that part there. And then of course when I stick it all together, I'll be machining out that gap there. Right, so we now put the 1/2 inch in the milling machine, drill and tap that hole. Right, so I've got this here set up as per the drawing. So the centre of that hole is going to be, it's 932 in. If you can see that, 932 in from the side to the centre of the hole. So we get that drilled now and tapped. Right, so I've got the tapping drill for 4BA according to this old book. It's 3mm. So we put that on in there. Right, so these through. Now I put the tap in. Right, so let's put that number 1 tap in first. Right, I just take that one out and unscrew that by hand. Lovely. Just put that in by hand a bit more. Beauty. Right. Now we can put that back in the lathe and part it off. Right, so I've got that all set up, ready to part off. Beautiful. There we are on here. Let's move this out the way a little bit. This part here is what we're making. So this part will be there, and this part will be there. Next bit we got to make is that part there. So what I've got some 1/2 inch flat, a bit of 1/2 inch flat. I'm going to mark this out because it's got to be tapered. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount that in the milling machine at an angle. And I'm going to take a little bit off of each side to the end. So it'll be tapering from there to the end, both sides. I'm only going to do that because then I can put that piece flat back in the milling machine when I need to cut it off to length. Right, so I get that all marked out and I'll get back to you. Right, as you can see, I've got this set up at an angle in the vise. I'm going to take a little bit off each side so I can then still put my piece of flat in the vise straight again. What I've also done before I started filming, I've put a 5/16 cutter, stood it up on edge, so that round part there sits in there nicely for when we silver solder it all. Right, so let's get that machined off. Just move that over there a minute. Right, that was the last cut. Move that over there a minute. Lower that down a bit. Right. So I've got that side cut. I'm going to turn it over and put it at an angle. You see I've got them marked out there. That way, when I come to do the rest of the machining, I can put my little bit of flat stock parallel in the vise again. When we come to machine these slots, so you want that slot nice and square, or this lot. Right, so I'll just get on and do that. That part there and that mark there, don't know if you can see that. That is the center of the holes there. So when I come to, I should get a 1/2 inch cutter with the center of it on that hole and go downwards so I get a nice curve to solder the other part in. Right, as you can see, I've marked this out. That's one leg sticking out there. We'll spin that round there. That's one leg there. That'll be a curved corner inside. That's the other leg. And that part there is the thick end coming around there. So I'll get this set up, get a cutter and start cutting. Right, so I'm going to go down the side of the foot first. This side, so that'll be the right width from that end to that side of the part there. Right, this is the last cut going along there. Right. Just wind that down. Right, that's the actual part, machine to width. Next thing I'm going to do is go on the inside to there. That's right, through that side. I'll just move the cutter over and go this side. Right, so that is the inside of that machined. So that this little piece will be silver soldered there. And then I'll machine the gap in between later on. Now what I've got to do is just machine that bit there, back here. So that's what I'll do now. I think I'll use a smaller cutter behind there. Right, so I'm going to start machining out the back there. Just make my way up to the line. Right, just to there. Beautiful. Right. That's the back part done. What I'll do then is turn it over, get a half inch cutter and see if I can carefully cut through there to, when it comes off it should have that curve there to fit on the part I'm going to silver solder there. Right, so I got that set up. Just bring that up a bit. See what I'm going to try and do. I've got that all lined up. I've taken me time, measured several times, and I'm happy with that now, and I'm going to slowly cut down. So I'm leaving the half-inch curve on this part. See if it works. Right, I'll stop there because he's starting to shake, so I can break that off. Just get some pliers. There we are. I'll just file that up and then we'll see what we got. Right. Right. So that bit will be soldered on there, and then I'll machine that bit out. And this bit, which goes on the rod through the away shaft bracket, will be silver soldered on there. And then that will be the lifting arm finished. So the next job now, silver solder that lot up. I'm happy with that. I've left it a little bit chunky there, but right, let's get that silver soldered up then. Right, as you can see, I got that part wired up to solder that first bit on. So I'll get that one silver soldered on. That side. Beautiful. Right, just let that cool down, and then I shall wire up the other part to go on it. Right, so I got that set up there, all fluxed. Just get on and do that one. Beauty. Just let that cool down, and then we'll have a look at it, clean it up, and then I can machine that little cut out the middle. Right, I got this set up here. I'm just going to machine that little gap out. Right, that's one side done. just do the other side. Right, there we are. Just take that out of there. Right, so there we are. What I'll do is I'll give that a good file up and a bit of emery, and then we'll jig it up with the rest of the parts. So, there's your lifting bracket there. So you've got the eccentric straps, the rods, the link, and the lifting arm. There's a 5/16 rod through the waist shaft bracket, goes through there. So that's that all jigged up. I'm happy with all that lot. I've got to get some pins to go through these parts here and here before I can put it on the traction engine. But that's a good step forward. So while I'm waiting, I have ordered some pins because I could buy the right size pins for these. I've got to make the little blocks that go in here, which the rods from the valves go on. But that's no hardship, I'll get on and do those. But in the next videos and that, I'll be making the connecting rods. You see the hole in that? I've got some 1 1/8" round bar. It's slightly tapered. And then we've got the big end bearings there, which go on the crankshaft. There's a lot of work in that, you see. And some brackets, look, to hold that together. And just here, where that bolt is, there's a, I don't know if I can open up the drawer, and it's getting a little bit worn out. There's a tapered piece of bracket there, which tightens all the bearings up in there. In there. So in the next video, that's what we'll be doing. Connecting rods. So please subscribe to my channel and join me as I build a 2-inch scale Fowler Showmans Traction Engine.